Hello, this is Kid Bandit, the protagonist of pro wrestling, and you're listening to Wrestling with Entertainment.
And we are wrestling with AEW Revolution. It took place March 6th, 2022. It was in Orlando, Florida at the Edition Financial Arena. And yeah, we are. I guess I'll go first when it comes to this event. I mean, it wasn't a bad show. Everything was pretty much good. I just felt like there was maybe a little too much what's the word? Uh Gaga for the sake of Gaga. But other than that, I actually enjoyed the show. What say you, Drew?
AEW with their pay-per-views have been knocking it out of the park in my opinion. So I enjoyed this show very much. I think the build of every match was done perfectly well. It got you emotionally invested in the show. And yeah, to me, the show was a good show to watch and take in if you were a wrestling fan. And it brought you back to what you really enjoyed about wrestling: the feuds, the storylines, and what happens inside the squared circle.
Scooter?
It was it was a good show, uh, top to bottom. Uh, some things going a little long, but it was solid.
Kalika?
Well, compared to last year's shit, this shit blew it out the water. That's what I look at. I compare what their pay per view was for this card this year versus last year, and this year is miles better than what it was last year. So, give them props.
Let's get into it. The first match on the main card, Eddie Kingston defeated Chris Jericho by submission in 13 minutes and 40 seconds. Honestly, that match did not seem like it went 13 minutes. But it was definitely a solid opener that got definitely people off their feet and wanting to see this match. So I was all for this and getting Eddie a legitimate win against a big star. What say you, Scooter?
I mean, yeah, it was a decent opener for two guys that are up there in age.
What say you, Drew?
Yeah, it was a decent opener for guys that are in my one guy's around my age and the other guy's like way a little bit older than I am. But yeah, it was a decent opener. And like I said before, the build to these matches, especially this one, you got emotionally invested because of the promo work of Eddie Kingston, the promo work of Chris Jericho, and then when we got into the in-ring stuff, yeah, it didn't feel like it was 13 minutes long, but it did what it needed to do within the 13 minutes.
Yes. And Kalika?
Ditto what everyone else said. And plus, it was a good start because the crowd is going to automatically sing Jericho, therefore getting casual fans to be like, holy shit, it's a big deal because the crowd was into it. It was a good crowd feeder match.
Scooter, how many stars do you rate this match?
I would give it 3.5.
Drew,
Same.
Kaliko,
3.5. Yep.
I'll give it 4. Alright, we got Jurassic Express defeating Reed Dragon and the Young Bucks in a three-way tag team match for the uh, AEW World Tag Team Championships. and 18 minutes and 55 seconds. I thought this match went a little too long for my taste, and it felt like the champions, Jurassic Express, were just the backdrop for the bigger picture and the bigger story with Redragon and the middle-aged Bucks. But what say you, Scooter?
Middle-aged Bucks, Red Dragon.
It's Redragon.
Fine. If you want to tell him that, fine. I'll arrange your funeral. This match of the night, hands down. Uh, so what if there might have been more focus on the Bucks and Red Dragon? Uh, it was still an incredible match that from an outside perspective, Jurassic Express shouldn't have won. And yet they did. And I think Jurassic Express is the I think they are the quintessential example of what AEW can be.
What say you, Drew?
I agree with what Scooter's saying 100%. This was the match of the night. Everybody in the match, especially Red Dragon, Young Bucks, we know what they're gonna do, and it also put a big shine on the tag team champions, because if you're a casual watcher of AEW and you saw Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy and they're your tag champions, this match helped elevate them and help elevate that championship as well.
Kalika?
Me, I agree with everyone saying, but I think the right team won. And the reason I say that is because the Bucks have had that belt forever. So them having the belt is not really going to help. It's going to help them in their stock, but it's not really going to help the tag team division. And to me, Jurassic Express, it proved that they belonged as a tag team, right? So that was the point. It proved that they belonged as a tag team, and now they're going to have this murderer's row of teams that are either just forming or teams that are already solid. So it helps them prove their mettle. You know what I mean? And that's a good tone setter for their reign, because you don't want them to get the Big E treatment. You know what I mean?
Right. Uh, how many stars would you give this match, Scooter?
I would give it 4.25.
Drew?
Yeah, about 4.25. Same.
Kalika?
4. We're doing stars now?
Mix it up. I give it 3 stars. Alright,
Damn, harsh.
yeah. You guys, I felt like the reason that the spotlight wasn't on Jurassic Express was because they wasn't the biggest stars in the match, and they kind of got overshined by Redragon and the Bucks. But again, that's my opinion. Alright, uh, Best of the Revolution ladder match for a future AEW TNT Championship match. Warlow defeated Christian Cage, Keith Lee, Orange Cassidy, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Ricky Starks. Right Man won. Good solid match. Had to have Christian in there for ladder match reasons. Um, but yeah, just a solid, entertaining ladder match. And I dare anybody to find a ladder match that isn't entertaining. But what say you, Kaliko?
I say the right guy won, which was because I think the fans were waiting on Wardlow to win. Although low key they were wanting Keith Lee, because I mean, welcome back Keith Lee,
Of course.
welcome back Christian Cage. I mean, these people who have been there, and we are like
Even
on
Ricky
milk
Starks,
cartons.
we haven't seen him in the match for a spell as well.
And that's my point. Like that's what I hate about. Well, that's a whole nother story for another day. But the right guy won, solid match, good ladder match. Everybody got their little turns in, and the right person won.
What say you, Drew?
Yeah, I agree with Kaliko saying. Right guy won. Everybody did what they needed to do in the ladder match, and yeah, it was a fun ladder match to watch.
Scooter.
It it yes, the right man won. In terms of ladder matches, I wasn't blown away by it, probably because there were too many big men. Nothing against them, but ladder matches are really they're really all about the spots with the ladders.
Right.
And while big guys can do interesting things with the ladders while they're not set up, everybody really expects these days more than just having the ladder knocked over and them landing on the ropes and everything and stuff like that. I think this was slightly above average in terms of ladder matches.
Alright. How many stars would you rate this match, Kaliko?
Uh, three, a solid three.
You always do it.
Yeah, 3.
Scooter.
I would give it a 3 as well.
I'll give it 3.5. Alright. We are singles match for the AEW TBS Championship. We got Jade Cargill defeating Tay Conti in 6 minutes and 50 seconds. Um, Out of all the matches that were on this card, this was the only one not to go double digits. But I feel like that's expected. You knew Conte wasn't taking the title off of Cargill. You kind of knew that this was just kind of essentially the popcorn match to get to what we'll talk about in a moment, which was one of the main events of the show. But what say you, Scooter?
This was this was cut and paste basically. Uh, Cargill is generating uh, a lot of momentum. She is uh, increasing her worth with every match, I believe. Um, that being said, I think waiting to see who beats Jade is the payoff here, and that's always an interesting story. However, when you know the opponent is not going to be the one to do that, it takes you out of it somewhat. So props to Cargill for taking something that's mediocre on paper and making it look more than mediocre on television.
What say you, Drew?
Honestly, like you said, James, this was the popcorn match for me. This is I call these matches the roll up a spliff and do a thing situation. So that's what I did. Because I already knew Jade was gonna win. It didn't matter the time that she wanted in. It's just I'm kind of getting tired of the wash, rinse, repeat with her. I need to. I know she's new to the industry. I know she's still a little bit green, but I need. I don't know if it's a character change. I don't know if it's. It's just I need her to be in a feud where I actually believe that she could lose.
Right.
To be if you understand what I'm saying, like the match was fine. It was just like going into it, you already knew that Ty Conti wasn't gonna beat her, and it was just it is what it is at the end of the day.
Of course she's Greek. Her name is Jade.
Kaliko.
So she got set up. So Ty Conti got set up for the Sonata Slaughter, right?
Hey, he won the United States champion, so he didn't get started.
And that title is about as worthless as my freaking pants that I got on. Anywho, I get they're highlighting her strengths, and I get what Drew is saying, but the issue is that who on that roster has the body physique of Jade that could give Jade a run for her money?
Mercedes Martinez.
Because that's what they're selling. Like,
yeah,
they're selling the fact that she's cut. And unless it's Mercedes or Nyla, which, I mean, it's a man. But that's a whole nother, you know what I mean? So, they're trying to sell the...
My answer to that is Paige Van Sant.
Is Paige in there for a cup of coffee, Joe?
She just signed her contract, so.
But the problem...
What I'm asking is it an actual I'm going to be on TV every week contract, or is it the Brock Lesnar schedule contract?
She's
It would have to be on TV because she's not with UFC.
She was with Bare Knuckle FC. And she's been on TV.
That's true.
She's been on AEW over the past with Lambert and and ATT.
True. But that's a heel girl getting the title from a heel, so that really doesn't work. I feel it needs to be an underdog. You know, the Daniel Bryan as the world is against me, so I have to fight it type scenario.
But what woman on the roster is like that?
Peter Avalon.
Ruby Soho.
But Jade has already beaten her.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. She needs some type of feud that we can believe that the person she's in a feud with could beat her. Or you do
Ruby Soho.
It's just I have nothing against Jade. I think she's probably one of the stars that they have built that nobody knew. Like coming out of AEW, her, Britt Baker, all those like Darby Allin, etc., etc. But I just think, what is the next gear? You know, like it's like she's getting that Goldberg treatment where, yeah, she's smashing through everybody, but what's the next gear? Is she gonna feud with Britt Baker for her title and beat her? You know what I mean? Like where as James is saying, that's a heel taking the title from a heel. It doesn't really work. So I don't know what you do with her going forward. You just keep feeding her Ty Conti and Anna Kay and Layla Hirsch. Maybe Chris Statlander is the one that takes the belt from her. I
For
don't
now,
know.
Could
It's
be
just
Chris.
for
it,
now, how many stars do you rate this match, Drew?
two stars.
Scooter.
1.5.
Kaliko.
2, but because Jade's in her own planet right now. So
I rated. I did not watch. um, CM Punk defeated MJF in a dog collar match, 26 minutes and 45 seconds. Obviously, a much anticipated blow up to a rivalry people really enjoyed. I certainly enjoyed it. The match was solid. Maybe went 5 minutes longer than I would have liked, but other than that, everything made sense. It told the story properly, and of course, CM Punk looked like $1 million. MJF looked like a chump, and we're all moving on now. But what say you, Drew?
I enjoyed everything about this feud going into this pay per view. Even the entrance that we had from CM Punk coming out to his old Ring of Honor theme. And to be honest with you, I don't think this feud is over because we're 1-1. And I think we need the blow off to the blow off match. If this is the end of the feud, well, great, but I think people would want to see more. I think this elevated MJF even more because that's one of those guys that this guy is so young, but it's like he knows who the hell he is, and like him or not, he is arguably the best heel in professional wrestling. Like people want to say, oh, it's Roman right now, but I think MJF has hit a total other gear with this feud with CM Punk. This elevated MJF to that superstar stratosphere. It keeps Punk where Punk has always been as one of the top guys in professional wrestling. So I'm amazed, but I still want to see more. Just the selfish wrestling fan that I am. I want to see more of this feud.
Alright, what say you, Kaliko?
I guess I'm the opposite. And here's why. And it's everything that I told you about MJF. He's good on the mic, and then the bell rings. I would believe him more as a heel if he actually won a feud. The last feud he won was Darby Allin. Other than that, he's been snatching L's like a leprechaun. So until he does something, I can't take him seriously.
And what say you, Scooter?
This was It was bloody. It was violent. I loved it. I loved Punk coming out to AFI, uh, evoking that whole Ring of Honor. Um, my gripe about this match, aside from it running a little too long, is the fact that they're making that dynamite diamond ring like it's a pair of brass knucks, and it shouldn't be. One punch with that should not take someone out. it's
2 punches?
if they wanted it, they should have made it. It should have been a diamond glove. It's more more believable than that. I mean, and since MJF's won it 3 times, uh, shouldn't he have 3 of them?
Have a dynamite diamond knuckle duster?
Exactly.
Hmm.
Um, it also makes it made Punk look like he couldn't beat MJF on his own.
Hmm.
And it was only because of Wardlow that Punk won. I don't think we're going to see this again. I don't know what else you could do above a dog collar match, and don't say a lights out match, because a dog collar match is above a lights out match. Uh, unless they plan on pulling out that barbed wire exploding death match again,
Yay!
then I don't think we're never going to see it. I also don't know how MJF could top that, oh, I'm an asshole because of anti-Semitism and bullying promo. What else can he say that would make CM Punk want to fight him again? And maybe there's an interesting story there on MJF trying to do everything he can to get Punk to fight him again. And maybe off the top of my head, Punk says MJF has to beat Wardlow
Hmm.
to get a match with him. Uh, but unless they are that smart, and again, if they stop hiring talent left and right, then this is the end of the feud for both.
I agree with you. I feel like MJF has to go onto his Warlow rivalry. That should be anticipated as well. I'm not sure what Punk is doing right now, but I'm sure it's going to be must see, so we will see. Until then, Drew, how many stars would you rate this match?
This gets 4.5 from me.
Kaliko,
Storytelling great, 4.75. But my question is, where does MJF go from here, other than Wardlow? And if he does get over Wardlow, where does he go?
Scooter.
Well, well, he's not going to get off. He's not going to get off over Wardlow. That's clear.
And that's my point. He's got to have a streak at some point, right?
Yeah, it's just going to be a brown streak leading out of his pants. The match, yeah, 4.5.
And good, good storytelling, maybe just a little too long. 4.5. Um, AEW Women's World Championship match. Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, defeated Thunder Rosa in 17 minutes and 25 seconds. Honestly, I feel like AEW did these girls a little dirty, putting them right after such an anticipated match. Kind of making it less important than the match that it followed because, obviously everybody was spent cheering on that match. Making it a little bit less, but, and then there's the fact that Britt Baker won, which, should have been Thunder Rosa, but, that's my opinion. What say you, Scooter?
It absolutely should have been Thunder Rosa winning. There was no reason that there was no reason that it shouldn't have been Thunder Rosa's night. I
Anything,
mean,
Texas?
yes. Plus, again, we have the same problem with Jade Cargill, who can now step up to Britt Baker.
Thunder Rosa in the cage next week.
And 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 based on everything that's happening, Baker wins that too. It seems like they're they're trying to cement Britt Baker as the greatest female star of AEW, and they're gonna feed her opponent after opponent.
What say you, Kaliko? Oh, did we lose Kaliko? Alright.
Nah, my hands were bloody wet. Anyways, I think Britt Baker is where MJF should be.
So MJF should be women's champion.
No, in a sense where eventually the heel gets the streak and gets their due, and that's where Britt has that edge, right? And let's face it, the division when it was first incarnated was built to be around Britt Baker. It took longer than it expected to get there, but now we're here. And she's going to be the face of that division until they find someone who can beat her. But the problem is she done already ran up and down that roster. So who the fuck will beat her?
What say you, Drew?
I agree with what everybody is saying, but to be honest with you, Thunder Rosa should have won the belt. And right now, I feel like Britt Baker doesn't even need the title. She's so over when it comes to being one of the top stars in AEW, male or female. If she drops the title, it's not going to hurt her. And I think if they're going to the cage, I think maybe this is a time where her little faction starts to turn on her. Maybe it's time for Red Bull, don't call me Reba, to turn on her. Screw her out of the title, something, because we're seeing that with MJF now. He's feuding with the guy that he brought into the promotion. So maybe that's a way we can get the belt off of her, throw it on Thunder Rosa. Thunder Rosa can have some great matches with other people on the card, and then Britt Baker can have her little storyline over with people in her faction. That's what I see.
You make a great point there, actually. Um, and you're absolutely right. Britt Baker is so over a loss. Losing the title or a loss at this point doesn't really hurt her. That being said, Scooter, how many stars?
3.5, and I think that's being generous.
Kaliko. Oh, did we lose Kaliko?
There we go. Jesus. 2.
And Drew.
2.5.
I'll give it 3 because I like both girls.
But to me, it didn't match up to what they did in like the hardcore match.
Right.
That was their bar, and they didn't get a chance to shine.
John Moxley defeated Bryan Danielson in 21 minutes and 5 seconds. I really enjoyed this match until it became just a bloodbath for. I mean, there was a reason for it, but when you just had a bloodbath 2 matches prior, it kind of takes away from this one, which the blood was a part of the story, but they could have gone with maybe just a little bit less blood, would have made it a little bit more better for my taste. But that being said, solid, great match by 2 great guys. What say you, Drew?
Yeah, it was a decent match, and I think it's to put the blood was to put over the fact that when Brian said that, or when Moxley said to Brian that for us to team together, we got to bleed together,
Right.
and then Brian said, "Well, just to let you know, you might be the only one that bleeds." That's what they were playing into, which is great storytelling. Um, I to be honest with you, I didn't even see the purpose of this match. To be honest with you, I just thought they just threw these 2 guys together and they said, "Hey, go do a match." But who came after the match kind of helped us understand why they are becoming a team down the road.
Right. And Kaliko.
Yeah, the match in itself, people thought it was a dream match. This match was a lot more physical than because it started as a match and it ended as like them just wanting to beat the shit out of each other, right?
Right.
So that I think that was the thing. It was kind of like if we can beat each other up like this, think of what we could do to everybody else type of feel.
Yeah.
It
Came
kind
out
of like
like that.
Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch, right? They were
Mm.
beating each other up forever, and it was like, well, shit, if we could whoop each other like this, think what we could do to everybody else. So that's the vibe I got from it.
What say you, Shooter?
Yeah, I'm with Drew on this. I honestly didn't see, you know, necessarily the reason really for this match. Yes, Moxley won't team with somebody until they bled with him, but given that he teamed with Punk 3 some odd weeks ago, that makes him a hypocrite, basically. Um, but the fact that William Regal,
Yeah.
somebody we've said could be a great benefit to AEW, especially now that they own Ring of Honor.
Just last week.
Um, does Regal have it in him to be a manager? I don't know. We'll have to see how it plays out. Um, as for Danielson and Mox coming together as a team, does AEW really need another team? Quite honestly, this almost feels like, uh, yeah, you guys are main event, but we don't have anything for you to do, so we're gonna put you in a team, and any team they go up against now automatically is the odds-on loser.
With maybe the exception
Uh,
of Sting and Darby Allin.
maybe the exception of Sting and Darby Allin, and that's probably something they're saving for next year's Revolution. Um,
Hopefully,
if
Regal enhance the tag team. being the manager for them?
Honestly, I don't think so. Because of who Mox and Danielson were before AEW. They didn't need anybody to unify them. They really didn't. Um, the fact that, and they're pushing this on the fact that, oh, we all knew each other, well, in the WWE. That's what this is based on. It's not based upon anything that's happening or happened in AEW. And I think that's what bugs me the most.
Hmm. And I mean, William Regal thing, I thought it was cool, and I think that it's great that they're using him in a storyline right now. But there has been some issues on Dynamite. Well, at least in William Regal's mind, there was some timing issues on his promo and whatnot, whether or not you felt that that should be an issue or
I
not.
mean, he did go a little long. Um, I don't necessarily know if I can fault him for that. The man was tearing up. The man was tearing up at friggin' Tony Schiavone. Um, so also I don't think Regal is one of the guys that really needs to get on a mic and explain himself.
Oh, absolutely not. But what do you have to say about that? Kaliko, Drew, anything you want to add to that?
I think there was some news that he's like dealing with health issues right now. So
He put those rumors to bed.
He said
thank
he was
God,
healthy.
because okay, I was
But
about to
then he,
say, man,
but that
because
he did say on in the Dynamite promo that he doesn't have too much time left in his life. So
He was speaking in general. He wasn't being literal.
probably thinking like he got uh, more days behind him in wrestling than he does ahead, which I get it.
Drew, you have anything to add?
Quickly, cool to see William Regal, but I think it's a poor usage of William Regal. I don't think he needs to be a manager. I think he needs to be part of the booking or a commentator for whatever they're trying to do with Ring of Honor going forward.
Personally, I think he's better as a general manager because fuck, he'll put some order in that shit. It feels helter skelter sometimes.
Oh, for sure. All right, Moxley, Danielson. How many stars, Drew?
Solid 3.5.
Kaliko,
Ditto, 3.5, just because of the physicality.
Scudo.
I am gonna say, you know what? I'll be generous and I'll give it 4.
I'll give it four as well. All right, we got Darby Allin, Sammy Guevara, and Sting defeating Andrade, Matt Hardy, and Isaiah Cassidy. With Jose, the assistant, in 13 minutes and 20 seconds. My question is, why the fuck wasn't this just Scorpio Sky and Sammy Guevara? I mean, honestly, no offense to Sammy Guevara, but Scorpio Sky should have had that title a year ago when he won the ladder match and was the face of the Revolution back then. And this was basically just to get Darby and Andrade on the show, essentially. No? Yes? Kaliko?
It seems that way, but I mean, Sting jumped, took a dive onto the table, man. He a little too old to be doing that shit, boy. You better calm the fuck down, cause gravity will pull his ass faster than he was at 53 than he was at 23. But but I guess it was just for that to get those cool moments like that. I really don't see the story implication of it, but you know, just a filler.
Drew.
Cool to see Sting dive in at 62 years old off of a scaffold through a table, but it was a filler match. Like, it was just time filler, time for you to go to the washroom, get yourself your snack because the main event was coming up. So I, storyline wise, couldn't care less about the Hardy family office. I think that whole faction is a bunch of crap. I think they were just throwing people together just to make a faction and then adding Andrade. And I really, to be honest with you, to me personally, Andrade has been one of the worst signings for AEW. To be honest with you,
Oh yeah, without a doubt. I mean, he's only there for if the person that he's engaged to becomes available in the future, possibly if that ever happens. And if that ever not happens, then he's got.
They're no longer engaged,
But that's
so
no, they're
that
back
part
engaged. They're back on
they're still
engaged.
together.
Yeah, they're still
really.
together.
I was
Yeah.
about to say because
They should
uh,
they should they should rename him Andrade Del Rio.
maybe no, don't do that because Paige will fight her for him.
Ooh. Yeah. And then, obviously we got Jeff Hardy coming on the next the Wednesday following this. Another WWE guy that maybe the AEW shouldn't have hired. But your thoughts, Scooter?
Hey, at least they didn't have to pay for his music.
Oh, they did.
Nope. Jeff Hardy's the Hardy Boys theme was one theme that was never WWE produced, based on the fact that I have heard it in several porno films. Um, it
But we
was
know what they're
even
doing with
used
your sport time.
in several porn films years and years ago, I should say. Uh, Plus, it was used on the season premiere of The Masked Singer this past Wednesday.
Alright. That being said, rate the match.
Uh, 2 stars. I mean, we all remember what happened last time Sting was in the ring with the Hardy brother. Uh, and I'm not sure which was better.
Drew.
Did not watch.
Okay. And Kaliko.
Wish I didn't watch.
And I'll give it 2 stars. Simply for the respect of Sting doing a bump he didn't necessarily have to do.
Alright, he keep on. He gonna be fucking around talking with Dusty Rhodes.
Yeah, he's gonna be stung.
And the main event, the last match, Adam Page defeated Adam Cole for the AEW World Championship match in 25 minutes and 45 seconds. This wasn't a match Adam Page had to have, it was a match he needed to have. First really significant win of his title reign. Just a solid match that shows that he's the champion. There were some odds against him, but he overcame, and he was the babyface champion that people knew he could be, which I don't think we really saw until this match came on. What say you, Scooter?
Well, my prediction was right. Adam won.
Yes?
And like I said before, if you're actually expecting Adam Cole to get a reign with the AEW World Championship, I would like to know what you're smoking and give me some of that, please. Um, Nevertheless, Adam Cole is a great opponent uh, for Adam Page. This was a solid match from top to bottom. However, at no point did I believe Adam Page was in danger of losing his title.
What say you, Drew?
I agree 100% with what my boy Scooter just said. Um, I just think the feud is gonna continue, and I think going down the road, it's all of this is setting up for the Elite and Adam Cole's people going up against each other when Kenny Omega comes back. I think throwing Adam Cole in the title picture was something to get to elevate Hangman Page, and it did its job. The match was solid, and yeah.
Alright. And Kaliko?
My question, I always think where does my question always be like after the bell, then what? Because we know where Adam Cole's going, but Adam Page, they're gonna have to start lining up some people who we really think could question his reign, because Adam Cole we knew wasn't gonna win because he just got there. That would have been a shock. It it shocked me. It shocked but not shocked me that Page won. Right.
Right.
So that's why I think they need to bring up some more challengers for him.
Alright. And how many stars do you give this?
3.5. Good match, but I knew what was going to happen.
Drew?
4 stars.
Scooter?
I will give it 4 as well. It was a solid match.
And I'll give it 4.5. Alright. All that being said, the pit preview as a whole, Scooter, thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle.
I think we could give it a thumbs up.
Drew?
Thumbs up.
Kaliko?
Thumbs up on a Tuesday.
4 thumbs up here. That'll conclude our coverage of AEW Revolution. If you like football, and that'll conclude the show as a whole as well. Thank you so much for coming back on and talking wrestling with us, Drew.
Anytime, man. Anytime. Hopefully spring has sprung here in Canada and we can get rid of this damn snow. Tired of seeing white stuff on my car in the morning time. But it's always fun to talk professional wrestling with some guys from the great southern region of the world.
Sorry I left that blow on your car.
That's why the cops are trying to pull me over.
And
I mean,
you
I don't know
know,
how South New York is considered to Canada. I mean, yeah, it's South, but whatever.
and you don't have you can't just not listen to Drew on Wrestling with Entertainment. Where can we also listen to Drew and the Gr8ful Yardy podcast?
Grateful Yardy podcast is available wherever you get your favorite podcast. So if you're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podcast Addict, and many other places. So just type in the Grateful Yardy podcast. Take a listen. I'm not there all the time because I do have a full-time job. So when I do post some stuff, it's usually when things are really on my mind and I really want to get some things off my chest, like my last episode talking about the strike that ended with the baseball. Yeah, the baseball strike that now has finally ended. I talked about how I hated the fact that baseball was on strike. And then I gave my little thoughts about professional wrestling as usual. But Gr8ful Yardy podcast is available wherever you get your favorite podcasts.
Alright, and if you like what we're doing, please like, subscribe, comment, both on YouTube and Castbox. Of course, this was sponsored by Rogue Energy and Player One Coffee. Join us this Wednesday as we interview Big Juicy. And you can follow the show at Wrestling with Eve on Twitter and Instagram for all your Wrestling with needs. And you can follow me, of course, at JamesJ993. Drew, where can we find you on social media?
DWrestling99 on Twitter and Drew_Wrestling99 on Instagram.
Kaliko.
I am Kaliko as Kaliko does Dallas.
And Scooter.
Find me on Twitter at ScooterDust. Find me on the remix, along with James, now coming to YouTube with WrestleMania. And of course, find me and all my Twitch exploits as part of the Smoking Dragons channel, along with Rico Constantino Jr. at twitch.tv/Smoking Dragons.
For our very special guest, Drew, Kaliko Yacht, Scooter Dust, I'm James J, and this has been Wrestling with Entertainment.
Hey guys, this is Brutal Bob Evans from Hangs with Bob Seminars and TheWrestleLife.com, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment, one of my favorite podcasts in the whole wide world.
Hey folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show, support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.